some sense, Obama has the most difficult national security portfolio in his first year of any of them, if you measure by American casualties in combat, because no one else since Nixon inherited a war that was fully underway, the way Obama inherited both Iraq and Afghanistan. And especially in regard to Afghanistan, where, of course, the buildup of forces was underway even before he became president, and there was a growing national consensus that Afghanistan needed to be a more serious priority, in contrast to Iraq, where he still has challenges, but we're essentially on a gradual glide path downward and a relatively successful glide path so far. And so Obama has already presided over the deaths of a couple hundred Americans as commander-in-chief, which is much greater than the combined total of all of his 5 previous immediate predecessors for their entire first year in office. So if you go back and you look at Carter, Reagan, first Bush, Clinton, second Bush, there were some combat situations during those presidents' first years in office. And of course, George W. Bush wound up fighting the Taliban in Afghanistan during his first year, and also, of course, losing all the Americans in the 9/11 attacks. So in that sense, George W. had an extremely hard first year, of course, but the combat casualties were still much less from that Afghanistan conflict then than we're seeing with the Afghanistan or Iraq conflict now. This is a place that's doing pretty well, and while I certainly wish the Kurdish people well in doing even better, and would like to see them develop an even stronger political system, this is a part of Iraq that's thriving economically, that's relatively safe, and that, frankly, I don't think needs to concern Americans that much in terms of its internal dynamics. However, there is one big issue, which is how the Kurds get along with the rest of Iraq, because that actually is a concern, a problem that has the potential to reignite conflict, at which point all the progress we've seen from the surge could be jeopardized. The question is, to what extent have the Kurdistan elections affected the likelihood that the Kurds will do a deal with their fellow Iraqis over issues like the city of Kirkuk, the oil fields around Kirkuk, and other disputed territories that the Kurds would like to bring up into that autonomous region of Kurdistan and essentially merge with that, essentially bring that into their own Kurdistan government, when the rest of the Iraqi political system doesn't want that and wants to keep those disputed lands in Iraq proper.